Here at Be Freaking Awesome, we believe that life is too short to be anything less than extraordinary. Join us as we explore what it means to live authentically, grow continuously, and have a blast while doing it. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sammy Kinnison. I'm a communication coach who wants to help make communication easier and more natural for you.
My name is Angela Belford. I'm your other co-host, and I'm an executive coach who helps people feel as confident on the inside as they look on the outside.
We are a mother-daughter duo who are here to talk about some of the big questions of what makes life freaking awesome. And Angela, I want to take a moment to actually zoom out a second to say you published a book earlier this year, and I think it's fun to do like a little check-in with you. This is your third book to publish. How are you feeling? What has been the response? Where are you at within this book process? Because it's not just, sometimes it feels like, you get up to the marathon kickoff and really writing the whole book is the marathon. Anyway, tell us more about how things are going now after The Invisible Edge has come out.
Yeah. So for starters, I would say that I say to people all the time, when you get ready to write a book, you got to figure out what's the point? What's the purpose of it? I love to share my learning journey. Obviously, that's why we have a podcast. We are learning things and we want to share that and we want to make an impact. At the end of the day, that's the bottom line, is that I love to make an impact. Specifically with The Invisible Edge, I would say I probably had two goals. Number one, the higher level goal, if you will, was to make the content in Traveling Light more accessible, because there were people that read it and said, man, this really helped me a lot. It was just a lot. You had to work really hard to get through it. And so I wanted to make that content more accessible. And as a reminder, Traveling Light, the best compliment it ever got was this is like a 5th or 6th grade version of the Body Keeps Score. So if you've ever tried to read the Body Keeps Score, which, number one, it took me 1.5 years to get through that. So hang in there, keep going.
It's like a PhD level within this metaphor.
Of somatic processing and how your body, absolutely. And so the content is very much rooted in the ideas. So I tried to break it down and make it very simple, and yet it was still hard to. Some people
think it's hard. Do you have any thoughts or theories?
It's not taught in our culture. Yeah, it's not taught in our culture very well. We're coming out of the whole history of the United States from a Puritan work ethic concept is like, quit crying, I'll give you something to cry about. I mean, you have stuff like in the 1950s, as late as the 1950s. That was not very long ago in human history wise. We have Bowlby that was studying how British parents thought that you should take care of your child when they were in the hospital, and that was to come and visit them for 1 hour every week, right? Like that was normal. That was what was normal. And we were taught to not to coddle people. And so as a coping skill, we had to just push all this stuff down. And your body's like, well, this is dangerous. My job is to keep you alive, so I have to track everything that's dangerous. And where do I track it? I don't track it all in my brain. I track it your body. That idea of like, I just felt it in my gut. It's legitimate. And there's so much scientific research to show the connection between our gut. Like our gut actually produces a lot more of our hormones that we need for brain health. Our brain doesn't produce hormones. Our brain absorbs hormones. They send the message to your body to create hormones, but like it's not a hormone secretion organ, right? Like it's a processing organ. And so if you think about the mechanics of it, it actually makes sense that it's all in your body. We just have, in our Western culture, we've divided it out.
Can I take us on a tangent for a moment? Because I just think it's interesting you we talk about, in the 50s, it's good to, visit your kid for at 1 hour once a week in the hospital. I know of folks who might be older or more traditional that there is this like you're caring too much for your kids, you're doing too much for them. This perspective that like your kids don't need attachment. We survived, we're fine. Like have we pendulum swung? Have we gone too far in like helicoptering and overdoing it or maybe not, or maybe this is actually what humans need and we'll find out that when this generation is old enough to like start to see the results of that, will this be good for health and longevity and relationships? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's all
So
hypothetical.
yeah, I think I mean, typically there's a pendulum swing. When you have one extreme, we often go to the other before we land in the middle. So there is the potential of that, but I think more important than that is that the they have no models. So
Mm,
and we often are responding and parenting and living our lives out of our wounds, right? And
mm.
so if our wound was abandonment and we didn't have anybody to care for us, then we are going to do something that is the opposite of that. And so sometimes we do overdo it, and so I think there's a lot of different reasons, but I literally said to someone recently, I said, is it possible that your hurt self perceived their efforts in a different way? And they were like, what? Or I said, your wounded self. And they were like, wait, what? Hold on a minute. Like, and the idea that they could have perceived someone's actions differently if they had healed their wound was like a brand new concept to them. They were like, hold on, I'm going to
Mm.
need you to slow down. Like, say
Yeah, I
that
feel
sentence
like
very slowly.
you and I
Like,
are like, yeah, yeah, of course, hurt people hurt people. Like, what's next?
hurt people, right? We say this all the time. And so I'm like, no, no, no. But like when we are hurt, we hear things through broken headphones and we see things through sunglasses. And I literally said to her, I said, have you ever had a pair of sunglasses that was like um, pink and you look at the sky and the sky is purple, right? Or you have brown filter, or there are different colors of sunglasses that I don't like because I don't like how it changes how I see the world.
I distinctly remember in college getting to be a part of a group of friends. One of our friends was colorblind. We
Yeah.
all pitched in to get him glasses and then watched him sit down and sob as he looked up at the sky and at the trees because for the very first time in his life, he got to see the vibrancy of color. And he had
Yeah.
never before seen that. And he didn't,
Never.
for a long time, didn't know.
He
It's hard to
didn't even
describe.
know.
He
He
didn't
didn't
know that
even
he wasn't
know.
seeing colors in the way that everybody else was.
This is all he's ever known. And
Yeah.
so that's what I explained to her is I was like, when you were hurt, you put on glasses and then you filtered everything that this person did to you through that lens.
Yeah.
And am I defending the actions that they did? No. No. And I told her, I said, more importantly to me is the trajectory of where they're headed. Where is this person you're in a relationship with, where are they heading? Are they wanting to improve themselves? Are they wanting to be better? Are they wanting to, like, I want to hurt you less? Like, my
Mm.
goal is to hurt my husband less now than I did when we were in our 20s.
Right.
I want to have to repair less. I want to spend more time connecting. So I don't know, maybe we are, pendulum swing. Um,
I
and
think one of
maybe
the
we just aren't we're just working out of our wounds, and maybe there's an element of I can see the resilience that people develop as they feel very secure in their attachment.
mm. So within these two books, because I do feel like Traveling Light and Invisible Edge are a little bit of like a pair because
Yeah,
it's kind of the
for sure.
fiction, the nonfiction
Yeah,
components of
yeah,
the same source material, if you
yep,
will.
yep,
When people s- as you're walking with people as they're starting to go through these beliefs and this work and unpacking the beliefs that they didn't even know,
Mhm.
I recently got to experience, as I'm starting to help walk people through this as well, somebody who was like, yeah, I have it on the surface, I have no feelings about I'm not enough. I have no, like, brings up nothing in me. And it was interesting to see where at first what felt like, no, I actually don't have any kind of response to that is actually a defense, if you will, and like a complete detachment
Yeah.
from the association
Sometimes
to
called
like
dissociating, correct?
dissociation. Yes. In the best of ways, I'm meaning this question in the best of ways. Do you still encourage people to do the work, even though there's a chance for a pendulum swing that they might go from feeling nothing to feeling everything? Like, how do you
Oh my
navigate
goodness.
that part of the work?
I here's what's interesting is that a couple of years ago when I went to sorry, side tangent. When I went to get my certification in life coaching, it was not cheap. It was an investment. And I was like, well, what if I change my mind? And it's like, you have been pursuing this for a very long time because I remember during what I call my nervous breakdown, I was 24 and I couldn't stop crying for about 2 weeks, ended up in therapy. And about halfway through that 13-month experience, which you don't know when you're in it how long
Sure.
it's going to be, right? I remember saying to my therapist, I hate this a lot because before I didn't feel anything. I was more capable. And he was like, "Yeah, you were a lot less flexible. You were a lot more rigid. Things had to be exactly your way. You're a control freak." If you can believe I was more of a control freak than I am now. I am on a journey. I was a complete blown out perfectionist. Everything was about, performing and just surviving. And so that was absolutely how I was mad that I had to start feeling things because then I'm like, gosh, somebody hurt my feelings. I didn't even know I had a feeling to be hurt. So it is important to do the work. Here's the other sweet thing is that fast forward. So that would have been in 1998. So the fast forward to 2019, 2020, and I tell this story to I'm in marriage therapy at this point, and I said to my marriage therapist that my first therapist, well, he's not our first, but anyway, Joe had told me that I had basically every time something hurt me when I was a child, I put a layer of concrete and a layer of concrete over my heart and a layer of concrete and a layer of concrete. And what he did is excavate my heart out of that concrete. And I will never forget, Ryan looked at me and he said, I am so glad that you encased your heart in concrete as a child. Like, if you wouldn't have, you would not be the person you are today. And it was the first time someone celebrated the coping skill that I had chosen because I'd always felt bad about that. I'd always felt bad about that I had numbed myself to that pain. And I'd always felt bad that it felt like that wasn't the right thing to do. And he goes, if you wouldn't have done that, your heart would not be able to be whole and intact now. That's not to say that those of you that didn't encase your heart in concrete, that it's not whole and intact, but it was the first time someone celebrated that I had chosen that coping skill and that that was good and it was okay
Mm.
and it was the right thing. He said, your family wasn't safe. Your heart wasn't safe. So I'm so proud of you for protecting yourself. But perhaps now you don't need to protect yourself. Perhaps now, even though you've excavated your heart, like now you can reduce some of that protection so that you can be more wholehearted, so that you can make deeper connections, so that you can actually have deeper relationships. And for me, that is the reason we do the work. We don't do the work so that we can accomplish something. We don't do the work so we can have a successful business. 100%. We do the work so that we can have deep and fulfilling relationships.
Mm. I also think that within that deep and fulfilling relationships require risk. To
Mm,
your point, people are gonna hurt you.
they are.
And they're sometimes it's on purpose and sometimes it's on accident. And it's if we want to choose the path where we can never be hurt, we will also never be connected, which
That's
is going to
right.
cause its own kind of hurt. If we choose the path of staying connected and being in life with people, that is risking that somebody's going to hurt our feelings. I think it is worth the risk. It's
Yeah.
worth the risk. Even when the bad thing does happen, it's still worth it.
Yes, because they are going to hurt their feelings. And I would say that on the on purpose hurting you, I don't even know if it's on purpose. It is out of their own woundedness, out of their own pain, out of their own protection that they are hurting you. It is often not, there's very few situations where it is malicious intent. It is so much more often that you are, when someone hurts you, it is out of their own pain. And here's the other thing that I have discovered in this work that is crazy, and this is what adds to our resilience, is that when we do our work and when we get this healthy, then we've removed those glasses and we removed the lenses, and then what someone else says about me, I can legitimately, there are things that people would say to me that I swear 5 years ago would have crushed my soul. It would have felt horrible because they were affirming a belief I had about myself. And when I've done my work and I can feel strong that I am enough, I have what it takes, I'm lovable, then when somebody says something, I can be like, wow, what does that say about them?
I
And
feel
I am
like,
actually less likely to get hurt. I do get hurt from time to time. I am still
sure,
human, but I feel like I have less opportunity to get hurt because I can recognize when it's my issue, when it's their issue.
my two responses are most often it is on my best days, it is compassion to
Yeah,
say, oh man, like the deep beliefs and insecurities that this person must have are a lot. And on my worst days, it's like annoyance. It's like, ugh, somebody else's insecurities popping up in my direction. But even both of those things like aren't about me. They're still
right.
feelings, both compassion and annoyance. And that's a feels like a much better teeter totter than just judgment on myself or judgment on them or tearing myself down and things like that.
Absolutely. And I think my deepest hurts now come from when I act outside of my own character, which I think we're going to get into next week. But it's actually the pain I cause is
Mm,
is harder for me to reconcile with, because then I'm like, God, that is not how I want to show up in the world.
yeah.
And so it is the love, that's the piece, is that like we go from numb to woo, I feel a lot. Like I will cry in situations, I will feel all the feels in situations that I don't love to feel. I will still be triggered. And there's a lot of resilience on the other side where sometimes I can look at people and just be like, huh, I wonder what's going on with them.
Right.
So it's a process.
So then within the work of your book and
Yeah.
the things that are going on,
Mm.
what are you up to next?
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is that the second piece of my book is that on this one specifically, one of my longtime clients, coaching clients, was like, oh, I can't wait to read your new book. And I go, hey, peek behind the curtain. The book is designed to sell coaching. So, from that perspective, it is actually going very well because I have signed two new coaching clients just from them reading the book. And they were like, I need your help. So, that's the whole point of that book. It's not the whole point, but that is the behind the scenes. That's the business driver behind it. So, I say all the time, it's not likely I'll become a millionaire selling books, but I will make a giant impact. And
You
in the
could
name
become a
of,
millionaire selling
I'm
coaching.
I could. Yeah, 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 for sure. Um, and that will be because of the number of people that I have an impact on, which leads me to what I'm doing next. And I feel like I could turn this into a marketing um, rant for a second, but there's a common thing in marketing, especially in coaching consulting spaces, that is like, okay, find what you want to do, and then tell everybody and speak in their language. And honestly, I often am adding services based on people come to me with problems. Like I'm a paid problem solver. And so I have designed this next iteration of our coaching program. It is called Epic Impact. Um, those people that have been friends with me for a long time know that I actually have been playing this idea for about 5 or 6 years. I actually gave a, a keynote speech called Epic Impact about 5 years ago. So it's been wobbling around in my brain for a little while, but the way it's going to be brought to life finally is in a mastermind setting, and it is helping business owners and leaders become known for what they know. And it is a direct result of the coaching that I have done where people come to me. And often, if you need public speaking, if you want to be a better public speaker, it's because you are trying to be known for what you know. If you are trying to write a book, it's because you want to be known for what you know. And so, this is going to be a 10-month program. Here's what I love, love, love about this program is that it gets to combine all of the elements of my coaching and marketing, especially public speaking coaching altogether, because by having an opportunity to meet monthly in a group setting, we're actually going to be able to practice giving your pitch, giving your keynote, giving your topic. We are going to spend some time mining your brain for stories because I believe deeply in my soul that if you are especially a coach or a consultant, if you're an author, what you can be known for is the forest of pain and fear that you macheted your way through. So you experienced things in your life, and those of you that are corporate, you fought the corporate jungle, right? But this is probably a little more geared toward entrepreneurs, but you have overcome things. You have obstacles. When people ask you to speak or they ask you to consult with them, it's because, hey, you've solved some problems that I don't want to have to experience. Sammy used to say, like, teach me everything and I'll get some new skinned knees, right? And so the idea is that we are going to take people through a process. I've already taken a couple of clients through this one on one. So we're going to move it to a group. We're going to mine your story for mine your life for stories of things that you've overcome. We're going to shape that into who you can make an impact on and who your community is. We're going to help you build and develop your community. Just so we're clear, I don't think we talk about this enough unless you're, a big follower of Pat Flynn. But your audience are people that listen to you, and your community are people that resonate deeply with what you're offering. Um, you know, Pat Flynn has a book called Super Fans, and he says you don't actually need millions of people. If you had 100 people that bought everything you sold, then you would probably do a pretty nice business, and you would be deeply fulfilled, right? Like you would, most offers, if you had about 100 people, and they say that we can maintain about 150 relationships. So that's why I love that metric. Anyway, we'll help create the offer, validate the offer, and it'll be 10 months of, you'll also get once a month, you'll get one-on-one coaching as well, in addition to the group mastermind setting. So it won't just be, this is what Angela thinks, but you'll also have another group of people that are going through the cohorts. By the end, you'll also end up with the beginnings of a manuscript if you want to publish a book.
So this is people who want to make an epic impact.
It's
People who
people that want,
are who are willing to face the complexities of feeling your feelings and the wholeheartedness of life, and who want to continue to drive that forward in a way that impacts others, not in a way that just like, cool, I am working on my own journey. But I think that there are some people who are drawn towards, how
yeah,
do I share this story? How do I get this out there? How do I make sure that the lessons I've learned aren't, quote, wasted? It's not the right thing, but it's put to good use. And combining your business acumen, your marketing expertise, and your willingness to look at the hard things and to ask people really hard questions that they may not want to answer about their emotions and feelings and beliefs
Hmm.
into a program that and we want to help people who are like-minded build their epic impact.
I think that the people I've talked to may not realize that they're ready to make an epic impact. I think the
Mm.
people who are probably going to be interested in this program are saying, "What's next?" They're
Mhm.
saying, like, "Okay, I've spent 20 years building a business, doing corporate. I've spent 10 years." You don't have to spend 20 years. I'm just saying the people that I'm talking to most often are like, "Now what? What's next? What's act two?" And so they may not be sure that they haven't they may say, "Oh, I've always felt like I had a book in me. That's a great fit." But they may just be like, I wanna do what's next. I wanna help other people kinda come alongside." Because at least one of the people that's already, indicated they wanna do this, they've built a successful business and are having a lot of fun mentoring younger people in that same industry that they work in. And so that may not feel like this big epic impact because they're gonna serve 8 to 10 clients, but it's a lovely, fulfilling way to pursue act 2, and, it leaves you opportunities and open doors. So you don't have to be a coach. You could also be a consultant if you are wanting to mentor and work with and consult with people that are in your same industry. But you're like, gosh, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to do all of that. I don't know how to position myself. I don't know what to call it. All of those things. This is a great opportunity for you.
I will kind of disagree with you in that even people who are asking what's next, the people who would align best are the people who are like, I want to make an impact of some kind.
Indeed.
And I think even our friend who is mentoring, 8 to 10 people, I still think that is an epic impact, even if it's not
Sure.
thousands and millions of audience members. Like
Sure.
if you're like, how do I make my next $1,000,000 so I can go buy my golden throne to sit on at home and not do anything with it? I don't know if that's impact. So like there is some element when you're seeking success
Yes.
for your own success sake.
Yep.
One, let's talk about your hidden beliefs and why we're doing that. But two, the people who are aligned with us are the ones who are wanting to make a difference in the world and
Yes.
make things better. So
Yes, it's just we like to use big words like freaking and, epic, and so sometimes people think that it has to be this big superlative thing, and so,
sure,
yeah,
fair enough. If people want to learn more, what should they do?
uh, they can go to our website, B, letter B, freaking awesome.com,
It's a great
and
answer.
yeah.
I was like, we'd love to do a call. This is not something that people can just buy off a website page. This is something that it's worth a conversation for us to say, is this the right fit? Is this
For
something
sure.
that you would work well with us? We would work well with you.
Mhm.
Um, it's not an application based program, but there is a little bit of like, no, we should have a conversation first before we just jump right into 10 months together. So you
Yeah,
can schedule a call from our website.
and the 6 session Invisible Edge, coaching is a prereq, so you have to have gone through that 6 sessions to, be able to fully participate in the program.
You can do that 6 sessions as you start the program.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other last thoughts, Angela, before we wrap up this episode?
I mean, as far as if this is a like, how's the book going? I already am feeling just a little bit of, book 4 is already niggling, because what I really wanna break down I've known for a while I wanted to talk about abandonment, which, golly, can you just say how fun I am at parties? "Come on, feel your
Right.
feelings. It's okay to cry." And now we're gonna talk about abandonment issues. What I love is that I finally have put it together to figure out that, um, it is deeply about relationships. So, I feel like we uncover those 6 beliefs so that we can have deeper relationships.
We say we uncover those 7 beliefs.
Did I say 7? Did I say
You said
6? Yep.
6.
Yep. So we dig out and uncover those 7 beliefs so that we can have deeper relationships.
I love it. Thanks everybody for listening. We are so grateful for each and every one of you and hope that you got something out of this. And if you ever have any questions or topics that you want us to address in the podcast, we would love to hear from you. You can send us an email, you can message us on any of our social media platforms. We are always tickled pink whenever we get to hear how people respond to these episodes. So thanks everyone so much for your time. And until next time, we hope you guys go be freaking awesome.